We're talking Bybit. We're talking inverse leverage trading. Why? Why are we talking about Bitcoin trading, inverse leverage? So here's what someone asked me, and I wanted to show how this works. I hold Bitcoin. I like to hold Bitcoin because overall, I think Bitcoin's going to go up in value. However, I also want to trade Bitcoin. Why do I want to trade Bitcoin? Because I want to make money while it's moving up and down in these channels. How do we do that? Well, what we do is we use a contract, a derivatives contract, right? Or a contract for difference, depending on where you're at. I'm going to use Bybit. And what we're doing is we're actually using our Bitcoin to create more Bitcoin. So we're taking the Bitcoin and placing a trade with a dollar value of what the Bitcoin's at when the trade opens. And then you can go long or short. In this case, I'm mostly going long because I'm bullish on Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin goes up, I earn the profit from the trade, just like if you'd taken dollars. But when I close the trade out, instead of having more dollars, I have more Bitcoin. So let's jump into the Bybit site and I'll show you how it works. So this is a Bitcoin US dollar inverse perpetual contract. What does that mean? Bitcoin inverse perpetual is using Bitcoin itself as the collateral to trade Bitcoin. So how do we get there? In the Bybit website, we go to trade, we're going to futures, and we're going to inverse Bitcoin. Then you can do this with all of these other tokens. If you're holding any of these tokens and you want to trade them, you can do that. I will caution you though, there is risk. There's always risk. What's the risk? If you're going long and the market goes down, you can lose your coins, just like any other trading. One of the things I do to hedge against that is I isolate the trade. So on my margin, I'm using isolated, which is only this trade, and I'm using a very small, in this case, 1.5. Honestly, I've been using 1.1. I opened this up at 1.5 the other day to test it. And all you're going to do is you're going to set your opening price, obviously limit, market, or conditional. You can just do market if you don't care. You just want to buy it at the going rate. I would adjust this. I won't adjust it because I have the trade open, but I would probably run it at a 1.1 just so that you're not going to get liquidated. You got lots of room on this, right? We're not making a ton of money on these movements, but we're making money and we're using our Bitcoin as an asset. And here's my open trade. Bitcoin isolated, 1.5x leverage. So I actually used about 1,600 and change. I think it was 1,650. And so at 1.5, and we could do the math, but it was $2,458 in US dollars. And that's what I opened a long position at 82,482. It's currently at 85,143. Now, I have dragged a stop loss up behind it. I'm going to close that. I really like the interface once a trade's in place. I do wish I could place initial trades on the screen a little easier. It's there, but it's not quite what I want. You've got your market buys, your quantity. You can move that around out of your way. But I want to set buy stop and sell stop orders on here like I can with MT4 and MT5. And maybe there's a way to do it. I don't know how. But let's just close that. We're going to cancel that order. That's my stop loss. And basically, once you have your order open, you just highlight it here, and it gives you a take profit stop loss. If you drag it up there, and it shows you estimated profit, 0.0012 Bitcoin, right? Estimated profit. Or you can drag your stop loss. In this case, I'm going to drag it up to where this basically right here. Confirm. And what that's doing is this is where it's come down and tested a few times on this 30-minute chart over the last day. I am expecting with the news tomorrow that this will either go up or go down. So I want to lock in my profits. So it does look like I've been holding this trade for just over a day. And as you can see, it has cost me $3.16 in interest. But if you think about this, had you taken at $20,000, taken a long, even at 1.1x, and ridden that up to 100,000, you would have 5.5 times the Bitcoin you started with, and your Bitcoin would be worth 5 times more. So think about that in the concept here, that not only am I holding Bitcoin for the potential of it going up, but I'm also making profit on it while it sits. And the other thing to look at is your liquidation price. If Bitcoin were to go to $49,653, I lose this trade. I lose my Bitcoin. So that is not my goal. I would probably defend this if it did by bringing in some more Bitcoin to defend the trade. But I've already locked in a stop loss, so this will never be lost. It's just a matter of how much money am I going to make. If it keeps going up, I will drag that stop loss up behind it. Currently, I'm up, like I said, 0.0009 Bitcoin or $78. Unfortunately, I have some bad news also with Bybit. In the past, Bybit has allowed people to use the Palau digital residency ID card to verify their KYC verification, their Know Your Customer verification, to get you full access to their account. I started using Bybit years ago when no KYC was required, and they would just limit how much you could withdraw in any given day. And that was fine with me. However, Bybit has now gone to a full KYC, and the problem is they're no longer allowing new accounts to be KYC'd with the Palau digital residency card. So unfortunately, that isn't going to work anymore. And I'm going to look for a new solution for US residents on how they can use Bybit. MEXC may work, and I don't know if it's particularly Bybit that's not allowing it, or if it's the third-party broker or the third-party business they use to do the KYC verification that's not allowing it. But unfortunately, that's no longer a thing. So I will be looking for another way in order to continue to use Bybit. I may check out MEXC or something like that that gives pretty much the same interface and the same services. So until next time, let's all be healthy, be safe. Let's trade and make lots of money. And if you like what you see, click the like, click the subscribe, and I will see you on the next video.